Film fans of YouTube, hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh, your movie apprentice, and today I am looking at See How They Run, which comes out in the States on Friday, but has been out in the UK for about a week. Directed by Tom George and starring Sam Rockwell, Saoirse Ronan, and Adrian Brody. This is a whodunit story, but for me, it is almost the hot fuzz of whodunit stories in the way that it takes the mick out of the tropes before fully embracing those tropes. In this whodunit, a Hollywood director assigned to direct a film adaptation of a play is brutally murdered, and as usual, our stoic inspector comes into the room, but he is, of course, assisted by a very enthusiastic constable played by Saoirse Ronan. So, this movie was hugely entertaining in my personal opinion. The dynamic between Sam Rockwell and Saoirse Ronan in this was brilliant. The screenplay in this is extremely tight. Just the backhanded humor when it comes to pointing out the flaws of a whodunit and how things just wouldn't work in a movie, and then continuing to play on those moments is one of the biggest running gags in this film, and it works extremely well. Saoirse Ronan is the standout of this movie. She plays the enthusiastic constable to absolute perfection. One of my favorite little moments is the moment when she's asked to keep watch and she stares menacingly to keep watch. She takes everything that the inspector tells her to do quite literally, but she is not an idiot like he seems to think she is, as she is more intelligent. And while she does jump to conclusions in a very good running gag, seeing her start to think more for herself and see things from a bigger picture works fantastically. The pacing of this is also really well done. Just the snappy nature of going from scene to scene and meeting all the different characters that are possibly involved in the murder. It's one after the other. There is no dead space in this movie, and that's one thing that I feel like is the big strength of this. There is no dead space. Every character is colorful in their own particular way, and every single moment is used to its narrative purpose and never goes beyond that. It never overstays its welcome. I especially like how he literally had a character playing Richard Attenborough in this, who is the lead of this play on the stage. I absolutely love that dynamic. It really grounds it in that early 50s where Richard Attenborough was, in fact, a stage actor before he went on to become a more cinematic actor and director. That character I really enjoyed. And whilst the actor couldn't hold a candle to the voice of Richard Attenborough, whose voice in itself is nowhere near David's level, but still, Richard has such a calm, soothing voice. If you don't know who Richard Attenborough is, he is John Hammond from Jurassic Park. That's probably where most people will know him from. He does a fantastic job of portraying this fun little character, especially the way he dives into the inspector and asks the inspector if he can borrow certain things about his mannerisms to bring into his own character. That is such an actor thing to do, and it worked really well in this. If I'd say any flaws in this, is that the film does show its hand fairly early in terms of what is going to happen. Now, the reason I say it's almost like a hot fuzz scenario is there's always something to give a hint at what's going to happen later on, and it is really, really, really well done. But for some people, that might detract them a little bit. Me personally, I absolutely loved how the pacing and the foreshadowing is played out. As soon as that foreshadowing was about to come to fruition, I could see it coming a mile away. And while it does ruin it a little bit, because I know exactly what's going to happen, which is something the film never wants to do, that is kind of the point of this film. The whole idea is that it's a whodunit story, and we have all seen these films before, so we know where it's going to go. So there's no harm in giving away what's going to happen towards the tail end of the feature. Adrian Brody is going through quite a renaissance at the minute. Everything is turning up in at the minute. He is being charismatic as hell. He's always this charismatic American character bouncing off a very subdued supporting cast, and he always stands out like a sore thumb. His dialogue in the opening scene where he provides the voiceover is brilliant. I really love seeing him in this. He's not overused, but he steals every scene that he is in, and I can't wait to see more of what Adrian Brody does. The rest of the supporting cast are really good, and some of the dry British humour, like I'm British. I always enjoy little bits of British humour. One particular standout moment being a certain nod and one guy not getting what that nod's supposed to mean. That sort of humour always tickles my funny bone a little bit. If you want a fun time at the movies this weekend, this is definitely worth your time. The chemistry between our leads is absolutely brilliant. The pacing is non-stop. No scene is too short or overstays its welcome. It very much goes at the pace it needs to go to fulfill what it's trying to do. The satire and mick taking of the whodunit genre is really well done. And like I say, the way it just foreshadows things and they come to fruition, it feels very rewarding as a viewer. Unfortunately, it doesn't push any major boundaries in terms of a whodunit feature. It focuses more on just taking the mick out of the tropes and embracing them rather than pushing the boundaries. So it's not going to be like an amazing film, but you want a fun time at the movies where Saoirse Ronan and Sam Rockwell are just bouncing off each other perfectly, then See How They Run is definitely a film worth checking out. I'm going to have to say that for me, See How They Run is a good cup of tea. So See How They Run. Have you seen it? If you haven't, let me know your thought down in the comments below. Again, if you like what I do on the channel, click the like button, subscribe for more video content like this coming all the time. Coming up on the channel, just have a review of Crimes of the Future or Bodies out tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. But until next time, my name is Josh. I have been Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you all in the next video.